Hello YouTube, this is Jericho Majors coming back once again to finally make the review I said I was going to make for Deep Breath, Season 8, Episode 1 of Doctor Who. So, the reason I haven't made this video yet is because I have a lot of negative things to say, more negative things to say than positive, and I've had to rewatch the episodes to find like little tidbits I really cared about, really liked, and I wanted to say in the video because I didn't want to make a, usually whenever I see an episode that I don't really like, I have to distance myself from it and think about it, and then I can actually, because I've sometimes had to make re-reviews because I've seen it in a different light, and now I feel like it's really appropriate that I say my piece on Deep Breath. So, first off, I mean, every single Doctor in their, first episode kind of has an entrance. They kind of have a thing. Entrance, like first moments as the Doctor. Discounting the last season's finale, whenever the TARDIS was crashing. I really did like Peter Capaldi's like it was inside the dinosaur, like the TARDIS was stuck inside the dinosaur's throat, and it spat it out. Even though that scale was kind of weird, that dinosaur was like huge. That was way too big for a T-Rex. But I'm not going to nitpick about that. But no, my other two favorite entrances of all time were probably one of my least favorite Doctors, actually, the Sixth Doctor's entrance. Whenever he just kind of sat up and he was just like, He was immediately just a jerk, and then was a jerk until he went away. But yeah, I really did enjoy Peter Capaldi's entrance. Especially when Strax was like knocking on the door and he just kind of opened the door and went, shush! That was good. I did like that. That was so if that counts as his first entrance on his first episode, then I really did like it. It's not my favorite, but it is good. I didn't not like it. Now as for the rest of the episode, like I said, I had a lot of negative things to say, and I'm going to get those out of the way now. I'm not going to just bash and bash and bash and bash and bash. I want to get all the bad stuff out of the way. The biggest problems I have with the episode are a lot of the problems I have with Stephen Moffat as a showrunner and as a writer, where he kind of lazily writes characters. He is very childish in his character development. Just it feels it comes across as like two kids in the backyard, and one of them saying, "You're dead. No, you're dead. No, you're dead." And that's not really on Jenna Coleman or on Clara's, dying and being around and dying and being around. It's really just about the fact that he will say what is like something about a character just in dialogue and just establish something for that character and then just change it, or it's just completely different in the next episode. Like, for instance, like her qualities in her first couple of episodes in Season 7 Part B were completely just on either side of the spectrum. Like, sometimes she was caring and a caregiver and a teacher, and then other times she was completely selfish and oblivious and stupid. And they really have never settled on what Clara is and who Clara is as a companion. She's never really served any purpose besides having like sexual attraction to the Doctor, which is something I have a big problem with in the show. And that's something that carries over into this episode, not in sexual attraction, but just in sexual innuendo with all the characters, which happens a lot with Stephen Moffat. Like, I understand that he came from a romantic comedy background, but that shouldn't be so prominent in Doctor Who. I feel like this is a children's show, first and foremost, informative, and like a teaching show. That's where that originated as, and that's what I feel like even whenever it's trying to be an action adventure show, it still can teach children a lot about people and qualities of people and what to look for in people. But he kind of spends his time making just like out of nowhere sexual innuendo with random characters. I mean, like Strax, like whenever he's like scanning Clara, and it's like he's like looking into her brain, and he's like, "I see athletic men in underwear dancing around," and she's just like, "Oh." I just feel like, I mean, that's a man writing a woman in the base form. I mean, he kind of just sexualizes her to no extent, or to no end. And the same thing with Jenny and Vastra. They're lesbian thing is cool, like, that's fine, that's interesting for two sets of characters, but they don't have to be, like, just, like, flaunting their sexual innuendo everywhere. Like, Vostra, like, has, like, sexual feelings for Clara, apparently, and just audibly says it. Like, she just, you know, acts attracted to her, and Jenny is just like, oh, whatever, man. And then there's, like, a scene when Jenny's, like, all, like, scantily dressed and just kind of posing, and you think she's painting her, and the joke is that she's not. She's actually just taking notes or whatever. But that's kind of funny, but, like, I feel like a lot of the things Stephen Moffat writes into these episodes with female characters, and a lot of times male characters, just in terms of their, like, blatant, I'm a dude, I like girls. It just kind of stunts the character development. It doesn't allow us to really understand the characters on a deeper level. It's just kind of like, all right, they all want to have sex with each other. Cool. I just don't see what purpose that serves for the show. The only time I've ever seen it work, honestly, has been in these last two episodes with Peter Capaldi. And it's not really even sexual innuendo. It's just this kind of his kind of commentary on physical attraction and physical appearance. Whenever he's talking to the dinosaur, he's like, "I'm not flirting, by the way. Oh, you're a big girl. Oh, you're a big girl, but I'm not flirting." I mean, you know, he's just like, he's kind of like the old man in that sense, and not I mean figuratively. I mean literally he is the old man, but like in the way he treats sexuality is a very Victorian kind of, you know, very British thing. And I do enjoy that in his character. Some other negative aspects of the episode were Stephen Moffat continues to write the same villains over and over. Like, they all have the same basic qualities. They all are centered around some kind of clockwork or machinery. And that's not just in the clockwork robots in Girl in the Fireplace, which this episode was connected to. But, I mean, the Smilers in Matt Smith's second episode were mechanical, just click, 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 click. They all kind of have like a head turn thing. Every single one of them have like a head turn thing. In the episode Bells of St. John, you know, they all have that head turn thing, and they're all kind of clockwork and machinery. And, I mean, you can go back to all of the Stephen Moffat episodes where he's written villains, and you notice the same patterns come up over and over and over again. And they all have, like, this one thing. It's all, like, they all have to have, like, a thing. And their thing was, like, that they didn't breathe, I guess. But even though they, like, can scan for organic material, you would think, okay, stop breathing, yeah, they won't notice you. That was kind of like a, whatever, cool, it's Doctor Who, I guess. We shouldn't have to do that, though. I mean, I've been doing that a lot lately with these episodes. It's just when something happens, it makes me roll my eyes, and I have to just go, okay, it's Doctor Who, whatever. I also am really annoyed by Stephen Moffat's continuing efforts to make this show like an action movie. But, I mean, he's not really good at it. He just kind of makes these really cheesy moments that don't really, they're not charmingly cheesy. Like, Doctor Who's best quality is that it can be cheesy, but charming. It can be cheesy and have terrible special effects, but you're supposed to be like, oh, like, not like patronizing, but you're supposed to kind of be with the show and its cheesiness. But when it's cheesy, like, Vostra and Jenny come down and they have like samurai swords and they're just like hacking away at these robots. I'm just like, whatever, okay. And then, like, as like I said earlier with the character development, Strax is a Centauran, and Centaurans never give up. They never stop fighting. And I understand that he's like a tame one, but there's a moment in the episode where it's trying to be all dark and stuff, and it's doing a good job when it's Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi was so good at, like, the darkness in this episode. I mean, obviously that's the theme they're going for with this season, but there's a part in the episode whenever, like, they're getting closed in, and Strax, like, points the gun at himself, like he's gonna kill himself. I'm like, what? A, it's a children's show, first and foremost. I mean, most people will agree to that. I mean, I don't see it as a children's show. I just know that it's probably marketed that way and like is that way most of the time. But he turns a gun on himself. A, like I said, that's really gonna be like, whoa, to kids if they understand what that means. B, he doesn't do that. Like, he doesn't give up. I mean, and I'm not just saying because they've told us that he doesn't give up. I'm just saying that's a Sontaran. They've already done all of the character development with making him a Sontaran. The humor comes out of his literalness, kind of like Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. But he does not. I mean, he doesn't turn a gun on himself, and it's just I just didn't get that. And I don't know. In this episode, there are about 60% bad things, like annoying things, and then about 40% good things. So that's all the bad stuff I can think of right now. I may have to bring up stuff later whenever I think of it. But positive. Let's talk positive. Peter Capaldi, amazing. A+. Great. We don't really see him that much. I mean, we do see him, obviously, like it's the episode, but every single time he's on screen, he is soaking it up, and he is enjoying every minute of it, and you can tell he just loves this character. And his acting as, I mean, he was regenerating, so it's an episode where he's just kind of like, you know, disoriented. But whenever he was perceptive, whenever he would, like, come down to earth, literally and figuratively, whenever he would kind of snap out of it and be like cold and calculating, those scenes were incredible to me. Even though they, you know, were muddled in Clara's like made up character flaws, like when they would just say, "Oh, you're controlling, you're a control freak." I've never seen that once in one episode. But anyway, whenever like they're talking back and forth, the banter feels so phenomenally different from Matt Smith's and hers. When Matt Smith and her would banter, it would be kind of like, even if they were angry at each other, or she was angry at him, or he was angry at her, it was still kind of like the sexual tension that was building. There's still this kind of weird relationship between an alien and a human, and I never really enjoyed that aspect of it. I love that in this, it's more like an old guy bitching about like a girl dressing like a skank at a bus stop. That's what it felt like to me, and it was just amazing for him to just cut people down. Like to watch him just kind of like, oh, shut up. I mean, because before the Doctor's been like, I know what I'm doing, but the 11th Doctor kind of discounted a lot of that because he just acted like an idiot all the time, and that was his thing. I'm not gonna, you know, have a problem with that because that was his thing. But Peter Capaldi, he knows what he's doing, and he just cuts people off. He's like, look, I know what I'm doing. And he says that. He said that once in the episode. He's like, I just like to talk. I just let them talk until I can say my piece because it just gets things done quicker. And it does. There were a couple of really cool moments with him whenever he, like, let Clara, like, get information out of the guy. That was clever. I did like that. And then when he came in and he, like, pulled the skin head off and he was just like, that was freaky. I mean, once again, it's a kid show, and it's gonna freak some kids out if they realize, oh, that's a real person's skin. But I loved it. I was just like, oh, cool. Like, he just kind of took it off. I really enjoyed that. And whenever he doesn't know what he's doing, which happened a couple times in this episode, he played it off really well. He plays it off perfectly. And I really just enjoy his characterization of the Doctor so far. His costume, I've said before, I really enjoy his costume because I've now had the opportunity to hear, like, from different, you know, documentaries and such, that he kind of built his costume to be simple enough to replicate. Like, whenever he was a little kid and he watched Doctor Who, he talked about how, like, all of the doctors had these crazy outfits, and it was so hard. Like, you just kind of had to, like, pretend that you were the Doctor and just, like, put a scarf on. It was just a scarf or something like that. And it was all these really complex, ornate costumes, and his is so simple. And he said he wanted, like, a random schoolboy to be able to replicate it, which they could. Black boots, black pants, a long black jacket, and a white shirt with a black vest. I mean, that's about as simple, but it has enough like little quirks to make it a doctor's outfit. It has wingtip combat boots, which I haven't seen a lot of, and I've been looking everywhere on the internet to buy, but they're a little expensive. The red interior, the red lining, really just it looks amazing to me. And with the fact that he buttons it up here and then like it flaps back around his waist, I love that. It's really cool. I mean, it's really a cool outfit. And then the no tie, buttoned all the way up and no tie. I don't know. There's just like those three little quirks just make it a really cool outfit to me, and I really do enjoy it. And I like that his hair isn't crazy. It's just, I mean, it's just his hair, and it's short, and it's whatever. It's not about hair anymore. It's not about what he looks like anymore. It's about who he is, and that's what I really am enjoying about his Doctor so far. Now, the new TARDIS, which some people haven't realized that it's new. I mean, it's so similar that some people don't really think that it's a new one, but for those of us who do realize it's a new one, and those of you that do, I really do like it. I do like the new color, the orange instead of the blue, and some of the bookshelves in the back, and like the blackboard. I mean, there's a lot more accessories to it, a lot more kind of making it more into a room than an actual like just spaceship console. Kind of, you know, once again, harkening back, like calling back to like whenever the Doctor had things like that, and I think the only time was in the 1996 movie. I am not sure if that's the only time he's had like bookshelves and stuff like that. I know he's always had a library and all that stuff, but this time he actually has it accessible, like in his console room. He actually has like books and stuff, and like new light and some chairs and stuff. I do like it, but the last one before this one is still my favorite, just because, I mean, it's full-on spaceship, steaming, dim, wonderful. Yeah. Also, the new opening sequence. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't dislike it. It once again is Stephen Moffat like kind of making everything clockwork, I guess. But this is based on a fan-made opening sequence, which I find kind of interesting. But I like, it's probably the first opening sequence that I've seen that isn't the time vortex or the yeah, it's more like it's less of an actual traveling through the time vortex and more just like, I don't know, like just kind of thematic, like just kind of theatrical, you know, time, and I don't know, it's alright. It's not my favorite. My favorite is still season 5 like opening sequence without the Amy Pond intro. But yeah, I don't know, it's not bad, but it's not great. Not my favorite. It's fine though. It functions as an opening sequence, and I do like the new song. The new song is pretty great. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. I give the episode a B, just because it was his first episode, and I really did enjoy him. But a lot of the other things in the episode just kind of annoyed me, because they're Moffatisms, and as long as he's the showrunner, they're going to be around. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I'm about to make the review for episode 2, Into the Dalek. So thanks for watching.